Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 103 of Hollow Knight Silksong Blind. Last time, we defeated Neolith and went through Hornet's memories in order to obtain the flower, let me find the name of it, the Everbloom flower. Though alas, there were no memories of the Pale King. There were no mentions of how he taught Hornet all about the buzzsaws. Yeah, we get Hornet and basically the Bee Queen, basically Vespa, I think her name is, basically doing fencing and the like. We get Hera having a mother-daughter moment with Hornet, but yet no account of basically the man, the worm, who basically gave Hornet her love of all things sharp and stabby. So anyways... So, did they just die? Did they just abandon their shells? Is the world just in even more disarray? Watch how the world is in even more turmoil. So, let's just do a quick check. I just want to do a quick check to see if we're missing anything, if there are any more quests. Oh, we're not finding any quests here. Okay, Bellheart, then the first shrine, then we're heading back to Deep Docks. But yeah, this could very well be the final episode of this playthrough. I can't believe it, you know? It just feels kind of surreal. Where in a lot of ways this was similar to how Dragon Quest VIII was. Both were blind playthroughs, both were pretty expansive games, but they had different feels to them. Both games had just very different feels, where basically Dragon Quest VIII was a lot more lax, though it had its fair share of hard parts. Though with this one, it was just relatively fast paced. A lot of the issues were just me trying to keep the video time short. And just, okay, yeah, Grand Bellway, trying to keep things short, so for compression purposes and editing purposes, but a lot more difficulty, you know? Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any more. Yeah, though, how much you want to bet that bench in the abyss? That's gonna be basically the last point before the true final boss. Yeah, though basically, I will do a check to see. Wait. Why? Where's my map? Where's my compass pin? They de-equipped everything! What the heck? Those brigands! They mugged me! Yeah, well, good thing I checked. What kind of world is this where you can't go into Hornet's memories without losing everything that you hold near and dear? Okay, and where is it? I guess right here. I have to have my loadout. Any last words, Sherma?
Redvein, you have some great tasks ahead of you, do you not? If so, I fear the time of our final parting draws near. You sense it true, Sherma. I shall soon descend to the darkest below the kingdom and quell the source of Pharloom's rending. If that task is achieved, my future may take me far from Pharloom, but know I have faith that you will hold these bugs together and see them prosper. In truth, I'm still only a fool, but I'll hold dearly to your faith in me. That warmth will help me endure whatever challenges lie ahead. Now let me pray for you, dear friend, and let my hopes follow you into the deepest darkness and beyond.
Yeah! Okay, let's go. There are no more quests from the look of it. Okay, let's get down to the Grand Bellway. Okay, deep docks. Yeah, though I wonder about the 9 abilities I'm missing out on, basically. I mean, I'm missing out on a Silk one. Like I said, I'm a little nervous, because basically, because what is this fight going to be like? I mean, if Grandmother Silk was essentially like the Hollow Knight fight of this game, basically, and to be honest, she was about on par with the Radiance in terms of just overall movement. Just everything that was going on. Then what is this final one gonna be like? Is it gonna be just Grand Void Mother? Grandmother Silk gets possessed by the Void, and so we have to deal with Void and Silk in some unholy union. Where's our bench? Oh, it's one down below. Kind of funny how Deep Docks is, in a way, one of the final areas you go to. If those were ants, I was gonna be a little irritated, because it's like, come on, really? Really? We need more ants? So how are we supposed to get down? How are we supposed to get down to the abyss? Because I don't think that's gonna be a viable one right there. Is this episode seriously gonna be me just trying to find the way into the void? Yeah, because there has to be some way in there. Unless we have to go in through the Bellway again. Do we have to seriously visit the Bell Forge again? Oh, hey, good, you're still here. Mister, hello, I see you survived somehow, though that last plunge must have been your end.
It was not. I survived the fall. I managed a treacherous return. For the diving bell's failure, the risks were clear to me. The fault lies not with you.
Aye, as you said, the bell's old, and time has a way of breaking things even as fine forged as this. And see below, for its failure, I've been working hard at improving the design. Your last journey ended up being a valuable test. Ahem.
Good. That return path is long closed to me, and your bell is now needed again.
Again? Well, if you're game enough to try a second time, a shell shielded been fitted, and the bell's like new, better than new. If you're planning another descent, head down, holler, and I'll get you going. On our Sharma beats. Oh, when you're ready, miss. The upgrades are done. That bell's as ready as it'll ever be. Well, it looks like we can return. If we so desire. Okay. Same path as last time. Go, go, go. Okay, just keep going to the right, the left. Okay, we got the big guy coming. On the move to fight the big guy. Keep going to the right. I mean the left. Okay. Okay, hopefully we can use this bench.
Child, I hold the means to descend. Let's meet one final time and quell this black ruin of our making. Who are you hoping you'll find down there, Spider? An ailing child in a silk-starved beast? If so, I'm afraid we may sorely disappoint. What waits below is me no longer. Even if we're only your shadow remains, release your mother's grip, my blade would see it slain. Then why hold? Then why hold? Even this moment, surely terror hasn't suddenly claimed your hardened heart? Take the final plunge, Spider. Join us in my drowning palace, and let oblivion swallow us all. Oblivion may take you, child. My own life I shall not sacrifice. I have survived the fury of your land. I have borne its barbs and its blades, and I have seen wonders behind its danger. But always, child, I remain a daughter of Hollownest, and the void below of all things, that darkness I will fear no longer. That thing is like the family dog at this point.
I just noticed that's a delicate flower from Hollow Knight. Well, you're not looking well for wear, Grandmother Silk. Lost Lace. Oh god, Lace is the final boss. And she has void powers. Oh, and she deals a lot. But this is cool. second I bring out the Cogfly, that's when it all breaks down. But yeah, I'll probably have to blooper this fight. I can't Cogfly spam. Hopefully it doesn't make us have to watch that cutscene every time. It's making me watch... Okay, good. We could skip the cutscene. I mean, it's interesting to see that cutscene the first time. It's cool and all, but just when you're failing over and over again, you need something. Especially when you have to see the laces rising up from the mist like Donnie Most. But at least it's not... Oh no, I had a horrible thought. What if the Lace is just phase 1? We have to fight Lace, and then we have to fight... Then we have to fight Grandmother Silk again. Surprisingly mellow for a boss theme against someone like Lace, you know? Okay. Can we just skip to the inside? Why do we have to see the Hornet dive? The Hornet Superman dive? At this point, what are rosaries to us? Yeah, you know what? Let's see the layout. Let's see the layout. Let's replace it with the Druid's Eye. Okay, well, at least we got a little farther this time around. We'll give it one more shot. We'll give it one more shot and then bloopering and then basically see where things go from there. Okay, blooper time. did I actually do it? Did we actually do it? Did I actually win? I think I won. Okay, well, are you next? Are you next? Take the child. Leave the silk, take the child. Okay. Oh. Oh my gosh. So this is a sequel to Hollow Knight. Specifically the God home ending. Yeah, just the shade. Get good. Sister of the Void. Oh my gosh, but that was definitely a fight. I'd have to say, though, on par for par, just a lot better than the Radiance. Sure, the Radiance has presence, but just there was just something intimate about this fight, where basically it felt familiar. You were going against Lace, this opponent you've gone up against twice before. She had all her moves, plus those Void ones. Granted, those Void projectiles could just bite it. But all in all, just it was a really good time, I would say. It wasn't as bad as when I was facing the Radiance. I was just feeling, ugh, at the fact that basically you had to go through the Hollow Knight first. But still, yes, this is a lot better than how they handled Hollow Knight, because basically you're going up against the Radiance, who's basically one of the few enemies who's dealing those 2 masks of damage. So I think that this is the true ending of the game. So with that said, just this game was definitely a ride. When I first started up this game, I thought that it was going to be about on par with just Hollow Knight in terms of basically just scope and just overall enemy difficulty and everything, but just Act 3 alone. Act 3 was like a sack of bricks at the fact that basically Act 2 of itself it would be a decent ending, you know, where basically you're facing Mother Lace, you're in the epic music, the needles are flying across the screen. But with Act 3, it just takes things to a whole new level when you're dealing with the likes of Carmelita, you're dealing with Neolith, that freaking Coral Tower Gauntlet. And just, I have to say, just, this game was definitely worth the wait. It was definitely worth the wait. However, I will say this. If you plan on playing this game, play Hollow Knight first. If I did not play Hollow Knight before this game, I would have been I would have been dropping it. I would not have been able to power through like I did. And then that ending with basically just, though I can't but feel a little confused about about the ending, you know, because basically just, where was Hornet through the darkest and dangers? You persevered. Thank you for exploring the world of Hollow Knight Silksong. Let's meet again on the road ahead. Is that the name of the next game? Road Ahead. You know, it's gonna be this one's gonna be a prequel for real, and it's gonna go with Zote. That, or it's basically going to deal with just that, or it's a sequel. It's Zote after Hollow Knight. But I do have to say this, is that I can't, if this game is a sequel to Hollow Knight, basically I was under the assumption that it was a prequel the entire time, because from what I heard, according to the developers, basically all the endings of Hollow Knight were deemed canon, basically. So, considering that one of those endings is that Hornet is trapped in the cocoon with the Knight, with the Shade, I figured that this couldn't have been a sequel. So, the fact that it's actually branching off the God Home ending, so it's canonical that basically the Shade went inside the head of some God-seeking being, fought dream versions of all the bosses that they encountered along the way, basically Sisters of Battle, Hellfire Grim, Markarth, and just became the entity of the void, and then saves their sister, basically. Just the Shade, like, hey, sis is in danger. We roll out. Though, speaking of which, I can't help but wonder, though, basically, what the Hollow Knight is doing, because according to the God Home ending, the base God Home ending, basically, if you don't bring the delicate flower and the void doesn't consume, basically, Hollow Knight, I think that's going off that ending, where, basically, the Knight gave the God Seeker the flower, basically, the delicate flower, which in turn contained the void and prevented it from just absolutely consuming all of Hollownest. But yeah, because we don't see basically what Hornet does in that ending, but in the base ending of God Home, you have it where Hornet comes face to face with the Hollow Knight, basically, who's been cleansed after the Radiance was just absolutely purged. They were never even fought. So basically, so I can't help but wonder what the Hollow Knight was doing during the events of this game. Was the Hollow Knight just lounging around Hollownest? Was the Hollow Knight rebuilding? Hollow Knight takes on the Pale Throne? But so now I can't help but imagine basically just Hollow Knight and Hornet, they're basically teaming up, they're basically they're coming to grips with the situation. All of a sudden the Citadel, they just ambush Hornet and whisk her away, and Hollow Knight is like, oh my gosh, sis has been kidnapped! I have to save her! And so Hollow Knight is just rushing out and basically gets lost. Meanwhile, Hollow Knight's just lost in some other land. Have you seen sis? Have you seen her? She's like my father, except part spider. You can tell because she cackles at saw blades. Yeah, and then right at the end of the game, basically, Hornet saved Pharloom. Hornet's just limping out of the kingdom, and then all of a sudden the Hollow Knight rushes up. Hey, sis! Sis, I've come to save you! Game completion, 86%. I will take the 86%. Yeah, so anyways, there aren't going to be any bonus videos because honestly, I'm not going to go and just collect a few mask shards, collect any missing spools. But I can't but wonder though. Yeah, I'm missing one mask. I'm missing 4 shards. Where would those shards be? But let's see if Lace has been added to the compendium. I'm going to check to see if there is a Pantheon. I don't think that there is. If there is a Pantheon, I am not doing it because basically, I mean, I struggle with the bosses in of themselves. The conjoined heart isn't even taken. It just left. So has Lace been added? Wing mold. Okay, when did we get wing molds? False fly with a rune-etched shell. A tormented mix of soul and void is caged within.
A crude construct of my father's fallen domain. Only a fool believes that void can be fashioned to do their bidding. Hornet, Daddy was dumb. Dumb Daddy doing this with his void.
Yeah, meanwhile Hornet, she's summoning the powers of the void to get rid of Grandmother Silk because she doesn't want to be Queen of the Silk. Okay.
Her body seemed to weave her, but her crazed fanatic able to guide Pharloom's on silk by the music played upon it. Her body seemed to weave her, but her mask had been forcibly removed, and her own silk was bound useless by a heavy pins lodged through her spine.
Okay, I think we already read this, Phantom. Yeah, we already read Phantom. Manic fencer who delights about.
A bug-born Halia thread, much silk would have been needed to see her sustain a fragile form of life, but life nonetheless.
Grandmother Silk, mark of Pharloom, and the primal source of silk.
Heart of the haunting, long lulled to slumber and desperate to wake, the higher being's threads stretched throughout Pharloom, snaring its bugs and driving them into madness and discord.
Silk spun child, possessed by the void.
To quell the mother's rage and see this kingdom saved, I will claim her back. This one, the dark shall not take.
So basically, if I'm getting it right, then basically, the reason why this entire thing happened was because Grandmother Silk was basically just so hell-bent on protecting Lace, and Lace was just being a diva. Yeah, now I can just imagine just the Pale King. He sees this entire thing with Grandmother Silk just shaking his head, just... I may massacre my children. I may use them to house the goddess that I usurped. But at least they don't try to rebel against me. Right, son? That's the holler in the black cocoon. Okay. Yeah, I just want to see if we're missing anything. Anything interesting. I'm not going to go through all of them, because basically if I were to do that, it would be basically, if I were to take a minute a piece, it would just be so long. It'd be 40 minutes. It'd be like that one episode, that bonus episode of, it'd be like that one episode of, bonus episode of cannot talk, of Dragon Quest VIII. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, oh, hey, I'm going to just do a bonus episode, a big bonus episode, show all the things, but I'm just really not feeling it, you know?
They seek to slay their only chance at survival. Alas, my words would fall useless. I have only my blade to offer in response.
Only chance at survival? The Hollow Knight is running around in this world, is running around in this timeline. He's running around out there, basically. Just Hornet falls, Hollow Knight comes in. Hollow Knight comes in, picks up the slab, goes in with the nail, goes in with the void powers. Hollow Knight could clean up here.
Curiosity saw me answer their summons, but I shall not allow them to stall me long. I must work fast to fix my grand mistake. Weak, afraid, and aware of the imminent end, I understand their desperation, but my death will not prevent the coming fall. This one's learned to call and guide the scorching wisps that share their thickets. Whether through dominance or reverence is unclear.
Okay, and with that, I think that now would be a good time to end things off. I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the first episode of my new Let's Play, which will be uploaded on the date listed in the description of this video. And with that, I'll see you later. Bye.